Hello, everyone. So to say welcome today. My name's Shane. I am a part of the mindfulness at Uber community that we've built over the last year or so. And what we are is we're a group of employees who work to encourage mindfulness and mindful practice as a part of your daily work routine, and it's just a part of your life, even outside of this office. We have communities that operate and practice in ways such as meditation or communal outreach, or through these events such as this, and primarily in San Francisco, but then also in a few of our cities. And what we like to do is also bring in some external speakers to come in and teach us a little bit, and so that way we can give back to Uber and just grow as a company. So today I wanted to introduce Sariah Sizemore, who is a friend of Uber, and we'll be talking today about kind of designing a burnout-free life going into this new year, and what you can take from that. So everyone, give it up for Sariah.
Hi, I think she wanted to say something. Thanks, Shane.
Yeah, sure. This is Amanda as well.
Hi, everyone. My name's Amanda. I think I know some of you, but a lot of you I don't. I'm an employee at Uber. I work on the recruiting team. And I joined in June of 2014, so it's been a while now. And my first couple of years working at a very fast-growing tech company were sort of exhausting in many ways, exhilarating and exhausting. And I found myself getting pretty burnt out, approaching end of 2015, early 2016. And I would say, I'm going to be totally real here, I hit my peak burnout probably middle of 2016. I didn't really understand what I was feeling, but I was just tired and fatigued and stressed all the time. And I'm naturally a fairly compassionate and empathetic person, but I found myself getting really snappy with people and just didn't get what was going on. And so I started working with Sariah actually towards the end of 2016, and we've been working together for about a year now. And the tools that she's going to talk about today were some of the tools that she taught me over the last year, and I've completely turned around. I find my relationship with work and with my colleagues is much healthier now. And so I just wanted to give that little bit of context and kind of personal experience around some of the tools that Sariah is going to talk about. But I'll hand it over to her now.
Thanks. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you. Turn that off. Hi. Thanks for having me. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Long day? Easy day, yeah. Okay, before I jump in and talk about me and what we're going to do here, I'd like to just invite you guys to stand up. Just take your laptops, phones, set them aside. And you're just going to stand straight and tall. just close your eyes down. Close them down. Feel your feet on the ground. I'm just going to take a couple deep breaths. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. Just let your hands hang to the side. And just start to notice where you're at right now. Where are you on the map? Noticing your body, making the transition from the mind and all the things that have been going on, all the problems you've been solving all day, and just dropping into the body. And with this breath, we're just starting to clear the noise and tune into your signal of aliveness, your signal of inspiration, your vitality. And if you notice your mind is wandering, because that's what our human brains do, they start to wander. Maybe you're thinking about what you're going to eat for dinner, what you're going to do later, you have to do when you go back to your desk. I invite you to give yourself permission to practice being really present for this next 90 minutes that we're going to be together. And I'm going to invite you to do something that, you know, it might feel a little awkward, but it might be a little fun. Is just to start to kind of move your body. And you're just going to shake your hands a little bit. And you're going to shake your legs. And you're going to wiggle your butt a little bit. And you're going to wiggle your shoulders. And you're just going to just kind of bounce. Just bounce a little bit. Just feel your body. This is a little bounce. Bounce with me. Bounce with me. Bounce with me. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh. You can keep your eyes closed if you want. You can keep them open. And I want you to imagine that you're shaking off the day. You're shaking off all of the deadlines and all the code and the marketing and the problem solving and the meetings. All just shake it off, 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 shake it off. I want to see you guys moving back there. Come on, now is the time. Shake it off. Okay, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, and then come center. Who feels different? Right? Easy, quick. You know what we just did? You changed your state of being. You came in feeling one way, and just through a little bit of breathing and a little bit of movement, you changed the way that you feel. Go ahead, have a seat. So you might be wondering, well, what does shaking and bouncing around have to do with design thinking for life? Well, what we're going to get up to today is I'm going to talk to you about how we can use design methodology as a framework for creating change in your life and how it pertains to dealing with burnout, right? Believe it or not, you are your most powerful tool for designing. And that just like we design products, apps, websites, we can actually design the kind of life we want to have, and we can design the kind of experiences that we want to have. But we have to be totally connected to ourselves and to our creativity. So we're going to get into that today. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I'm excited to be here. I have had the opportunity to work with clients that work at pretty much all of the unicorn startup companies in the Bay, PayPal, Google, Facebook, Uber, Eventbrite. Also work with clients that work at Children's Hospital and Wells Fargo, not to mention clients that do lots of other things. And I've over the years had the opportunity to test out some techniques and practices to see what works really well in helping people de-stress and prevent burnout and basically be charged up and able to go into the fast-paced work environment that they work in and be really clear and on purpose, less stressed out, less tired, less burnout. So this is me. I'm in the back corner there. Before I worked in coaching and counseling and healing, I worked in tech for 17 years. This is when I worked at M Audio. It was an audio technology company that made speakers. And I got into the tech industry when I was about 18 years old. And I was working in Louisiana at a home health billing software company. It was a DOS-based software. Who remembers DOS? It was the days of Windows 3.1 or 3. And I fell into tech. It wasn't something that I went to college for. I just realized I was really good at it, and it was really cool and awesome, and here we go. And I just went for it. So then I moved to California. I was hearing about these really cool .com companies. It was before you heard startup or app or agile or anything like that. It was going to work in the .com industry. And so I moved to California, and I immediately got work. And I was working at carsdirect.com as their technical writer. And I was one of the youngest people on my team. I was the only woman on my team. I got plunked down in a sea of engineers. It's like, here, extract information from the engineers. This is your job. And it was trial by fire. I also was given the job of being an intranet administrator, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I figured it out. So I was working 10, 12, 15 hours, 15-hour days, sometimes more, weekends, all the time, 24/7, competing. I wanted to be seen as really smart and capable. I wanted to be looked at as, you know, somebody that could advance in my career, maybe get into leadership positions. I wanted to do a really good job, and I had no idea how to manage my energy or my time. And what happened is I got really sick. I started to experience, look, there's another picture of me, all the dudes giving a presentation at carsdirect.com. I got really sick with a syndrome. It's called shingles. It's basically if you have chicken pox, you can get shingles. But the way you get shingles is you have a really compromised immune system. And at 21 years old, it's very rare to have an immune system that's that compromised. And I got that because I was working so hard at my job and not taking care of myself. So that was my beginning of really realizing that I had to do something different. And it took a few years. Eventually, I was having frequent emotional breakdowns. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, and things were going pretty badly for me. And my roommate at the time invited me to a Kundalini yoga and meditation class. Now, I'm from Louisiana. I had no idea what Kundalini yoga or meditation was. I was also like really cool and totally not into any of that woo-woo stuff. But I went, and my teacher, she still teases me. And I showed up with like black hair and super black t-shirt and super tough. And, but it changed my life. Yoga and meditation helped me learn how to get into my body, how to breathe, how to deal with my mind, how to manage my mind. And it led me down this road of exploring all different kinds of modalities to help myself heal. You know, another thing that was going on with me is that I had a pretty rough childhood. You know, like a lot of us, we're human. We go through stuff in our life. And I hadn't dealt with any of my stuff. So here I am working, trying to be good, trying to be cool, trying to hold it all together. And I just didn't have any tools. Do any of you guys know what I'm talking about? Can you identify? Yeah, maybe. It's cool. There's no judgment here. We're all human. That's one thing to remember, is that because we're human, chances are we've experienced a lot of the same stuff in one way or the other. So through my meditation practice and practicing yoga, I realized that I could change my state of being at any time. That through practicing, taking care of my mind and taking care of my body and learning how to breathe, that I could go into work and I could be in a certain situation that might be challenging or stressful, and that I could actually change the way that I was showing up, and therefore I could change what was happening outside of me. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you can actually create change in your experience from one experience to the next. So how does that have anything to do with design thinking, you might say? Well, when I was working at Avid, which was formerly DigiDesign, my career went down the audio technology path. And I was teaching yoga and meditation, and I would teach yoga and meditation on my lunch break to engineers. And I don't know about how many of you are engineers in the room. Awesome. Thanks for letting me know. So they were, you know, at the computer, coding, problem solving, you know, a lot of stiffness happening in their body, didn't know how, there was just a lot going on for these guys. So they wanted to try anything to try to get some relief, but they were not into the spiritual stuff. Not into the spiritual stuff, not into the woo, really didn't understand it. And so I started to think about ways that I could create change or inspire change for lots of different styles of thinking people. For the people that might be interested in going to a yoga class and doing meditation or doing exercise, but also for people who aren't into that kind of thing, but they know they need something, but they don't know what they need. And so what is it? And I'm kind of a design nerd. I used to love working with user experience designers, and I just really appreciated it. And on the last tech project that I worked on, I was transitioning out of working in tech and starting to do coaching. My first coaching client was a user experience designer. And so I was working with her, and I was like, yeah, you know, it's kind of like what you do for your clients, but for your life. And that's how I got, and I was like, the light bulb went on. And as I was working with her with some of this design thinking stuff, design methodology stuff, I realized that the most powerful thing about design thinking and applying design thinking to creating change in your life was that it makes room for failure. It helps us learn how to try things out and fail, and try things out and fail, or have intentions and create something new and try it out. Maybe it goes great, maybe you complete it, or you fail and you try again. Who knows about the design process? Who here is a designer? Is anybody here a designer? I know somebody here works with designers. Who works with designers? Okay, yeah. So if you're an engineer or you're in QA, you're a tester, you know this process very well, right? There is a requirement for the software, for the website or the software or the app. You develop the feature, you deploy the new feature, it gets tested, maybe it passes, maybe it doesn't, fails, goes back, maybe the design changes, right? You guys know how this works. So when we apply design thinking to our life, it gives us the opportunity to, a framework, should we say, to create change in a really interesting way. So in order to create change and in order to design a new experience, it starts with you. You have to be available. You have to be present. You have to bring your whole self, right? So I believe that when we add mindfulness, mindfulness being our ability to observe through the lens of the mind what's happening, we observe the environment, we observe our thoughts, we observe our feelings, right? And then we add embodiment. Embodiment just means like, I'm here, I'm right here, I'm in my body, I feel my body. I'm not all the time, right? I'm using my mind and my body. So when we have mindfulness and embodiment, that is the recipe for real creativity and change. So when we have mindfulness, embodiment, you're in your body, you're connected to your whole self, and then you're taking the responsibility for designing the kind of life that you want to have and the kind of experiences you want to have. That's really powerful. You guys with me on that? Yeah. Yeah. So it's also creativity. So giving yourself permission to be creative and then making choice. Well, I'm going to choose to show up. I'm going to choose to be embodied. I'm going to choose to be mindful. Or I'm going to choose to go to happy hour and have some drinks and check out, right? It's all a choice. And then we take action. You guys have any questions about this stuff so far? No? Cool. So we're going to talk about life experience design, so LXdesign. So life experience design is the process of enhancing personal satisfaction by designing powerful, fulfilling, and pleasurable experiences that increase ease, quality, joy, grace, moment to moment. So that means that you start to take the power and the creativity into your own hands and into yourself, so you get to dictate how it's going to go. Do you have control over other people and circumstances? No, but you have control over yourself. So you can start to design how you want it to go by how you show up, right? So we're going to work with the 4D model. It's a classic design methodology: discover, design, develop, deploy, and iterate. So, and the cool thing about this model is that it can work on the macro scale and it can work on the micro scale. So say macro, you want to buy a house, right? You're going to spend some time to discover what kind of house you want. Where do you want it to be? What neighborhood? What schools are there? How much is it going to cost? Right? So you decide what kind of house you want to buy, and then you spend some time designing what that looks like. Well, I'm gonna create a budget for myself, and I'm gonna clean up my credit and get my credit in order, and then I'm gonna get a realtor, and then so you create a design. Then you start to work. You start looking for a house. You're cleaning up your credit, and you're trying things out. Maybe you realize that because of your credit, you can't buy a house which is in the price range you originally wanted to buy. So then you iterate. Got a different house, different plan, different design. Then eventually you find the house. You buy the house. You live in the house. Your design has been deployed. You have deployed your design. But we're always having experiences. Life is always happening. So then you come back and there's a new thing to design and work with. On the micro level, you can design your experiences moment to moment. So imagine that you are having a really difficult conversation with your boss. You've got a deadline, you've got a release due, and the deadline is slipping, and you have to come in and explain why the team's behind. You're angry. You would rather be at your desk working because you have things to do, right? But you have to be there having that conversation. Who's had that experience? Yeah. Well, you can choose how you want it to go. So you discover first thing, so in your body, in your breath, fully present in that moment. The difference between that and being disembodied is that you're in the moment, but you're thinking about everything that you have to do when you leave, all the deadlines, all the stuff, and you're in your head. So you show up in your mind, you show up in your body, you show up fully present, and then you admit, I'm angry. Maybe you don't say it out loud, but you just let yourself feel angry. You discover you're pissed off. So then what? You decide to be present with that. And then maybe you discover that you'd like to lighten the mood a little bit in that moment. So you smile. Oh, wait, I'm noticing there's a lot of tension right now. This really kind of sucks. Your boss like, yeah, this sucks. Okay, yeah, but we got work to do. So how can we collaborate on getting this out? Do you see what I mean? That conversation could gone into anger. There's all this tension and stress and then you leave and you're thinking about it nonstop. Or you decided that your design, you're going to lighten the mood. You're going to smile. You're going to actually say what's really happening. And so you were able to shift that moment, right? So how does all this help us with burnout, with preventing burnout? Who has experienced burnout in this room? You get really honest? Wow, most people in here, I know, yeah. It's no fun, right? I was thinking about this talk. I was driving on the freeway, and I'm a classic rock nerd, so I was listening to this Neil Young song, and he was talking about being in a burned out basement. I was like, oh, burnout. He said burnout. I'm thinking about burnout. Like, wow, burnout. That's like when life is gone. That's like no more life, no more vitality, no more freshness. And so burnout, that's a really extreme word, phrase to describe it. But I know that that's how I've felt when I'm burned out. There's no room for anything else. There's no life left. So, but let's see. Let's just explore burnout. Burnout is a state of chronic stress that leads to physical and emotional exhaustion, cynicism and detachment, feelings of ineffectiveness and lack of accomplishment. Now, I know that I have been close to burnout and that I've had friends ask me, hey, Sariah, how are you doing? I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's really cool. I'm totally fine. Yeah. And then inside, I'm like dying inside, you know, but there's this way that we feel like we have to show up and put on a good face and not say what's really going on. So you may know where you are on the burnout spectrum. It takes a while to get to burnout. It's kind of like death by 1,000 cuts, right? We're inching to it. And sometimes we can be really close and we have no idea because we're not willing to admit it because we have to keep going, keep moving, keep producing. So we're just gonna explore this a little bit more. And I wanna invite you guys to feel into your experience. And as we go through these, just notice if anything resonates with you. Notice if you identify with any of these things. So chronic fatigue. Chronic fatigue is a big one. Chronic fatigue is when you're sleeping and you're eating well and you're exercising and you're doing all the things that you think you're supposed to be doing and you're still exhausted. You can't get enough energy to do what you need to do. So then what happens? You take a lot of stimulants. You drink a lot of caffeine. Who loves their coffee? I do. I love my coffee, right? So you drink coffee, and then you get hopped up, and then you crash, and then you don't have enough energy. And what that does is it taxes your adrenal glands. And when our adrenal glands get taxed, we're done. We're done. It's really hard to recover from that. Insomnia. So that leads to insomnia. If we're taking a lot of stimulants, we get home, it's hard to wind down, right? So maybe you have some wine or you have some alcohol to try to come down, but then that wears off. So you go to sleep for an hour and then you wake up and then you can't go back to sleep. Or maybe you can't go to sleep at all. The flip side of that, I don't have that here, is like where you can't get enough sleep. No matter what, you just can't get out of bed. Yeah, I see some heads nodding. That's what I was in. I couldn't get out of bed. I would wake up, I'm like lethargic. My face is all puffy. I'm like, oh gosh, what happened? What's happening? Forgetfulness and impaired concentration and attention. We only have so much capacity in our conscious mind. We can only hold so much information. That's why we have a subconscious mind. It stores all the data. So when we're overwhelmed and fatigued, we start to, we don't send emails in time. We don't get back to people. We forget things that we have to do. Physical symptoms, neck pain, back pain, chronic headaches, migraine headaches, stiffness, all that. More signs of physical, emotional exhaustion. This change in appetite. We either can't eat or we overeat to soothe ourselves. Anxiety. Who knows about anxiety? It's like all the time. It's like this underlying, it's no fun. And then that can lead to depression and feelings of just not being good enough, not worthy enough, like maybe not even wanting to be here, not wanting to be. It's like hard to be human. I don't want to be human. I'm tired of being here because it's all too much. We get angry and then we get snappy and short with our coworkers, with our partners, with our family. Feelings of apathy and hopelessness, that's very related to the depression. Increased irritability, lack of productivity. Okay, I bet you guys know about this one. So something happens, you're burnout, or maybe you're getting close. You're somewhere on the spectrum, you're not feeling good. Something happens at work that sets you off. You get triggered. You spent a good 2 hours thinking about that thing, or maybe like complaining about the thing that happened to a coworker and obsessing about the thing that happened, but you're not focused on your work that needs to get done. So suddenly an 8-hour day gets extended to a 10-hour day or a 12-hour day because that's all just taking up a whole lot of space. And we're going to talk about how to not do that. So then your productivity goes down, and that can snowball. You've got poor performance, then you're getting poor marks on your performance review. And I don't know about Uber, but most of these companies is very performance-based and competitive. You want to do a good job, you got to keep your performance up so you can advance and get your bonuses and your raises and all those good things. None of that is fun. Total loss of enjoyment, no fun. Suddenly you're working all the time, thinking about work all the time, not feeling good, not feeling connected, totally not fun. And then you become really pessimistic and negative. You're not having fun. How is it easy to be positive when you're in that space? And then you might start to isolate yourself. So you're not having fun. You're not feeling good. You don't want to go out. You don't want to be around people because then you have to be like, I'm fine. Everything's fine. Totally fine. Great. Or you have to drink a lot or take substances to relax. And then that does all kinds of weird stuff to your nervous system, which we're going to get into a little bit later. And it's just this like vicious cycle of pain and loss of enjoyment. It's a burnout cycle. So we feel disconnected and like kind of on the island, and you don't know what you need something, you're not sure, you feel overwhelmed, and then you feel disconnected. And it's just this overwhelm and this disconnection cycle, and it's hard to get out. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I want to see hands. This is important. I really want to know if you guys are with me on this one. Yeah, no fun. When I was doing research for this company, I've been researching and talking to people in different tech companies and working with clients. And one of the biggest, the thing at the top of the list of all the feedback that I got was, I feel disconnected. I'm craving community, I'm craving connection, and I don't know how to get it. Or I can be in a room full of people and I don't feel connected. I don't feel connected to myself. So I want to invite you guys, now that we've talked about what burnout is, we're going to just take a minute to check in with yourself and see where you are on the burnout spectrum. So if you are, if you have a laptop, if you got work to do, I get it. If you can take a minute just to close the laptop, I want to invite you to join us. We're just going to do a guided meditation. So you can just sit in your chair. You're just going to close your eyes. And you don't have to think about the burnout stuff right now. This is really just to give you an opportunity to check in with yourself. And you're going to start to inhale deeply through your nose and exhale through your nose. And as you inhale, you're breathing deep into your low lungs, so your belly pushes out like a bellows, and then you'll feel the air rise into the chest. So this breath will be your best friend when it comes to releasing stress. A lot of us breathe backwards, where you suck your belly in. But you actually want to relax the belly as you breathe and then feel the air rise into the chest. And with each breath, coming more and more present in your body, and more present in this space. Leaving the day behind. Leaving everything that it took for you to get here outside the door. And everything that you have planned to do when you leave outside. Relaxing your shoulders. Relaxing your face. And start to notice how you feel right now. Tuning into your physical body and noticing the flow of air moving in and out of your lungs. Feeling the seat beneath you and the room all around you. And if you have a bunch of thoughts coming in as you breathe and you drop into your body, that's normal. That's what our human brains do. You're just going to allow the thoughts to start to dissipate and move back into the background. Noticing any gripping thoughts, noticing any tape loops that are playing in your mind, any persistent obsessive thoughts. Again, this is what our human brains do. And make some space for that. Just notice. And then continuing to breathe. It's like the breath is like a spotlight, and you're using it to just observe and scan your body. And notice any places in your body that feel tight or out of balance. Maybe full of tension. And as you inhale and exhale, imagining that you're sending the breath right into those places, just breathing right into those places. And just allowing the tension to release out on the exhale, just letting go of what you want to let go of. And then noticing if any emotions are present, any emotional energy. Maybe you have some residue from the day, or you might have something going on in your personal life that's been bothering you, and just make a lot of space for that. Notice if you feel that emotional energy anywhere in your body. And breathing into those places in your body and releasing and letting go of anything that wants to move. And we're getting really curious about the wisdom that is flowing through you today. What is your truth? What is alive in you? Is there any intuition that you've been having that you maybe have been ignoring or not paying attention to? What do you need? How's it really going? Just notice what comes through. And now we're going to take a deep breath in, hold the breath, and a complete breath out. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. Hi. What was that like? I'd like to hear from somebody. Anybody want to share what that was like? It was relaxing? What did you notice? Yeah. Coming in the present. Awesome. Awesome. Was your mind really busy, or were you able to really drop in? Yeah. Trying to push it away. Yeah. Anybody else? What was that like? Yeah.
Yeah, for me, there was so much right beneath the surface. It's not conscious awareness, like when I'm going throughout my day, but it's still there, and I was able to gain awareness of that.
Awesome. So like get clear of what's like really going on. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you. Anybody else? I'd like to hear from one more person. What was that like?
It was difficult. I've never meditated before.
Yeah.
So I found it very difficult to focus or not focus on everything else that's going on.
Right.
But when I could bring it, stop thinking about other things, I felt a lot better. Less tense.
Yeah. Awesome. Congratulations on your first meditation. That's amazing. Awesome. Okay, so now that you've checked in with yourself, I'm just going to ask you some questions. I'd like you to just spend some time thinking about where you are right now on the burnout scale, on a scale of 1 to 10. And I'm going to go through some questions. If you want to take notes, if you have pen and paper, we have pen and paper in the back. You can go grab some pen and paper. You can just think about this. I'm going to ask you some questions so you can get an idea of where you are. So, do you often get sick? How have you been sleeping? Are you consistently low on energy? Have you been feeling irritated and short-tempered? Have you been silently judging others? I know that one. I do it in the grocery store because I don't like the grocery store, and then I get angry and I'm like, I don't want to be in the grocery store, and then I'm like judging people in the grocery store. Thing about this stuff, guys, is like we're human and we all do it. Okay, and we're gonna always be human. This idea that we're gonna get to this place of perfection and our minds are gonna be perfect and everything's gonna be perfect, that's a lie and an illusion, so just let it go. But what we can do is that we can notice when this stuff is coming up. Are you often speaking negatively internally about yourself or externally? Are you feeling underappreciated or recognized for your contributions at home or at work? Is it difficult to focus on tasks, so you work extra hours to complete things? Do you feel isolated and misunderstood by your team or by your friends or by your family? Is it difficult to ask for help because you don't know what you need? So I want to invite you guys to just turn to a partner, because this is how we learn things, this is how we solidify things, and just talk a little bit about where you think you are on the burnout scale and what your experience is. All right? Grab a partner, go. Yeah. Yeah.
It's really going well. Do you need water?
Good, thank you. So we have about 1 more minute. You start to wrap up your conversation. Okay, we're going to take an inhale. Inhale wherever you are. Big inhale. And exhale. I used to do that. I have a funny story. I used to manage a tech support team at this company called Native Instruments. If any of you guys are audio nerds, you might know of it. And I managed a team of 8 guys. And it was when I was going through all my training, my yoga training, and I would get to the point where I would just sit in that room and I would be like, and they'd be like, God, what is wrong with you? You're a totally crazy woman. But you know, you learn that breath works, and you get to the point where you just kind of don't care because you want to feel good. Okay, so I want to know where are you guys on the burnout spectrum? Who wants to share? What brave soul wants to? Yes.
I'd say I'm about a 6.
The holidays
can be difficult, as anyone else knows.
Really? Wow, the holidays?
Yeah, it's like
No, brutal. Yeah, totally brutal.
But kind of getting over that. The weather gets better and get brighter, like
Yeah.
cruising down. So it's good.
Yeah. What would you say, what helped you recognize where you were? Like, would you be willing to share any of the symptoms that you noticed that you experienced?
I have sleep issues.
Uh-huh.
Which is, like, I've had sleep issues from like being overworked.
Yeah.
And I felt like I wasn't actually overworked at
Mm-hmm.
this point. And, but I just felt like no matter what I was doing, I couldn't sleep. Even when I was like visiting like my childhood home, which is
Yeah.
quiet. So having sleep problems, so it makes you just think that like you're uneasy.
Yeah.
At some point inside.
Yeah, it's hard.
And that's been
Good. Anybody else have sleep problems? Yeah, this is one of the top things that my clients come to me struggling with are issues with sleep. And if anybody's interested in some tips, if you're having sleep problems, feel free to talk to me after this class. I would be happy to give you some tips. Anybody else? Where are you on the burnout spectrum? Yes. That's okay.
because for me, Austin,
Yeah. Internal what?
completing state.
Conflicting? Uh-huh. Yeah.
What I mean is like, so I've been doing a lot of work outside.
Yeah.
For psychology.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of new system.
Mm-hmm.
Another way of
Yeah.
every single day, I learn new concept.
Mm-hmm.
My whole system is like not ready or refuse to accept.
Ah.
the system.
Uh-huh.
I'm used to it.
Uh-huh.
I'm constantly seeking to
Trying to push it away. Yeah, that's called resistance. Yeah. Anybody know about resistance? Yeah, when you know something's going to be really good for you if you do it, but you just can't do it. Yeah. Thank you. It's okay if you don't know where you are on the spectrum. It's just good that you've, coming back to this idea of embracing our whole self and our humanity. Sometimes we just don't know, but we think we're supposed to know. And then when we put the pressure to know, and then that creates more stress. So little tip that I can give you guys, if you feel like you just don't know, but you need to know and you need to figure it out, just give yourself a break. Take a breath and choose to not know. It's liberating. It's so liberating. I learned this from a really amazing counselor that I work with. And I really walked around the house. I was like, my name is Sariah, and I don't know. I don't have to know. I don't have to know. It's great. Okay, one more person. Where are you on the burnout spectrum? Yes.
Pretty high up there. I would say I'm like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. What are some of your symptoms?
All of the above.
Okay.
Listed on her side.
Yeah.
Things definitely escalated over handling with my personal life.
Yeah.
It's definitely a challenging year for Uber generally, but also for me personally.
Mm-hmm.
So things have definitely been increasing, and I've just noticed specifically like lots of sleep difficulties as well.
Yeah.
Definitely some self-medication is encouraged by our society.
Right.
In our culture.
Yep.
Matters coffee and alcohol.
Totally.
Let's see what else. Lots of negative thoughts, judgments, depression, and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Did a lot of work with psychologists as well for a number of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are still in a pretty difficult spot for me. I don't necessarily think I was attributing those issues to burnout specifically, but maybe to other causes. So it's interesting to look at this angle as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for your honesty. Yeah. Yeah. Anybody identify with what he said? Yeah. Yeah. I've been there. I know. Definitely. So getting back to this idea of designing a burnout-free life moment to moment, we want to do that. So we just went through this discovery phase, right? And just so you know, you can use this discovery phase for anything. It's just my gift to you, this model, the discovery phase. So we want to be more resilient. And when I looked up the word resilient, it said the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties, and it said toughness. And I didn't like that because, yes, it's good to be tough, but sometimes that toughness can create more pressure. And when I think of resilience, I like to think of flexibility. But here's some qualities of resilience to get you guys thinking about it. Being resilient means that you're able to be really present, being really honest. You were really honest about your experience just now. It's not always easy to do that. Again, it's that like, I'm fine, everything's fine syndrome. We want to have compassion, bringing compassion for ourselves, bringing compassion for the other person, being able to put yourself in the other person's shoes or understand the situation. Bringing creativity, like I was saying before, you get creative about, well, how do I want this to go? Let me try something out. I'm just going to be creative about it. Being flexible. So I often think about like being like a piece of bamboo bending and swaying in the wind or the storm, right? Not breaking. We want to be able to do that. We want to be able to like weave and bop and bend and sway with whatever is happening, so we're not breaking, because we're fragile humans. Fragile. Accountability. So taking accountability for yourself. You can only be in charge of yourself and your actions. You can't change other people. And this is one of my favorite ones. It's being responsive, like responding in any situation, or like even being responsible for how you want it to come out, like the outcome you want to have, versus being reactive. So it's responsiveness versus reaction. So in order to be more resilient, I can talk about all these things, but if we want to be really resilient and we want to take our power back, we want to connect with our internal power and design and create the kind of life that we want to have from our internal power and the experiences that we have. And so the difference, just quick, the difference between internal power and external power. External power is when you are allowing the circumstances around you to cause you to feel powerful. So if you have the job, or you have the boyfriend, or you have the car, or you have the apartment, or like, you know, and then you feel really powerful. But, you know, the girlfriend or the boyfriend breaks up with you, or, you know, you lose your job, or you break your leg, then suddenly you don't feel powerful anymore, right? All right, because all of your power is external. So what we're talking about is internal. So to understand how to cultivate internal power, you have to understand how your biology expresses itself. So you know how to care for yourself. You know how to charge yourself up. And that's sustainable power. That's like green energy for us. Right? So the subconscious mind. Who knows about the subconscious mind? What do you know about the subconscious mind, Shane? Vast and unknown. Yeah, there's a lot in there. So we're supercomputers. We are actually, I like to call it like, we live in these human suits that are really powerful. Our brains are really powerful. Our hearts are really powerful. We have this nervous system that helps protect us. And so it's really useful to understand how your biology expresses itself and how you work, so you know how to respond and show up in any moment, so you can design the kind of experiences that you want to have. And you're going to be less jerked around and less tired and stressed out and burn out. My favorite analogy to think about this is like, if you're going to go to space in a rocket ship, you're going to know how that rocket ship works. You're going to know the disaster recovery plan. You're going to know how to repair it. Because same thing with your body, with yourself. Learn about how to repair and how to fix and how to charge yourself up. So the subconscious mind is the part of our mind that takes in all of the information that our conscious mind cannot hold. And it starts recording information from the time that we're in the womb space. And it's literally like a tape recorder. And it takes in this information. And from the ages of 1 to 7, our brains are in what's called a theta state. And that means that we are just downloading programs, downloading recordings. Who are we downloading those recordings from the age of 1 to 7? Our parents, right? So have you ever had this experience where you're doing that thing that's just like your mom or dad and you don't want to be doing it, but you keep doing it? Yeah, fine. That's what it is that your subconscious mind is playing out these recordings. So those are the habits. Those are the grooves. Those are the things that we have a hard time changing because they're deeply ingrained in our programming. So your subconscious mind is your database. It's your, and it's a lot of bad code sometimes for those developers in the room, right? We need to reprogram our code. We need to reprogram our database, and we can actually do that. Okay, so you have some power over reprogramming yourself. But you have to understand that you can do it first. You have to understand that you actually have some control over these beliefs and these habits and these things that you've taken on from your environment. So the subconscious mind is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. Who knows about the autonomic nervous system? Yes, tell me. What about it? What do you know about it?
It's the part of the nervous system that's responsible for
Yeah, awesome. Responsible for our fight or flight, right? Fight, flight, or freeze. The autonomic nervous system controls all of the parts of ourselves that we don't have to think about to carry out. So our heart beating, our lungs breathing, our glands secreting hormones. It also controls our subconscious mind. So the autonomic nervous system also controls our fight or flight response. So fight or flight, our nervous system, the autonomic nervous system, is exactly like the animals in the jungle. Like, we have pretty much the same nervous system as animals. The difference between us and the animals is that we have a more developed brain, frontal lobe of the brain. So when the animal sees a tiger in the distance, they get stimulated into this stress response. They're on high alert. They might be in danger. They might die. So say the tiger goes away and they're still in this stress response. What the animal does is the animal goes into their den and they shake. Remember the shaking we did at the beginning? And they shake and they shake and they feel all the stuff. They feel the fear, they feel the hormones, and they shake and they pass it through, and then they reset their nervous system. Well, we don't do that because we're taught that we need to feel good and we need to feel better, and that it's not okay to feel negative things. So we do things like smoke some weed, drink some booze, have some sex, watch some Netflix, even exercise. It stunts this process of actually clearing the fear response. So the thing is that our nervous system is not evolved enough to understand when we're actually going to die or when it's just our supervisor after us about something that we didn't do properly. So suddenly you're having a beef with your boss and you feel like you're going to like die. And you're thinking about it all day or all night and you can't sleep because you're on high alert. And then you're like, oh, I can't deal with this. And then you go like maybe get drunk with your friends or I don't know, do something that is going to help you not complete the process, okay? So this is the thing about how it works with the subconscious mind. If your subconscious mind is taking in information from the time you're a young person, and it records trauma, it records difficult situations, because it wants to keep you safe and it wants to keep you alive. And I was thinking about this when I was thinking about this presentation. And when I was in the 4th grade, I was considered like teacher's pet. Like I was like supposed to be advanced. I was supposed to go into advanced classes. And my teacher gave me this like really important project to do. It was like a contest. And I didn't have a whole lot of support at home that I needed. And I totally failed. I failed on this contest. I didn't do the work. And I just didn't do what my teacher asked me to do. She brought me into like a broom closet and she berated me. She told me that she was very disappointed in me and that, that she thought I would be able to do this. And basically just, she crushed me. And what this did is it implanted a recording or a belief in my subconscious mind that if I'm given a very important thing, that if I fail, I'm not good enough. My teacher's not going to like me. I'm suddenly not in the spotlight anymore. Well, fast forward, I'm creating this talk and I'm talking about burnout and I'm talking about allowing myself to be good enough. And suddenly I'm like, oh my God, what if they don't like me? What if like I'm not good enough? Because you guys following me here? Because I have this recording in my subconscious of something that happened that is coming into the future, into this situation, and then suddenly my nervous system is stimulated and I'm in fight, flight, or freeze. Right? So this is really empowering stuff, guys, because when you understand why you're getting triggered and why you're reacting the way that you are in certain situations, getting back, you can choose something different. You can choose how you're going to respond. You're going to choose how you show up. Any questions about the subconscious? I'm breezing through a lot of this. We could have a whole workshop on subconscious mind and nervous system. We could have a whole workshop on design thinking. So I'm giving you guys a lot, and I want to make sure that it's landing and make sure I make time for questions. You guys have questions? Yeah. Yeah. So what you do is you start to let yourself feel things. And then, so say you're constantly anxious all the time. And you're like, I'm going to push that. I'm not anxious. Everything's fine. Or you're like, oh my God, I'm so anxious all the time. And you're like indulging in it and just complaining about it and charging it up, right? You don't want to push it away. You don't want to indulge in it. There's something really powerful just being like, wow, I'm having a lot of anxiety. This is what's going on. And just through giving yourself the space to feel, okay, where's the anxiety in my chest? Is it in my belly? Okay. Then what happens is it metabolizes. Just like the animals in the jungle, you feel it. My motto is you got to feel it to heal it. You have to. There's no way around it. And this is why resistance comes up, because it's terrifying to feel sometimes the trauma and the pain of the past. But we got to feel it. And so that's where getting support, getting help, working with a coach or a healer or someone that can help you, that's where we all need support. The environment we live in right now, this fast-paced super pressury. You know, we are in an epidemic of anxiety and depression and fear. And so we need to help each other out. We need to get support. Any other questions about this nervous system stuff? All right. So I'm going to give you a practice that will help you play with some of this, like play with what it's like to feel something. And this, if we go back to the model, this is the development part. We're actually practicing, we're developing, we're trying something out that's new. So this meditation may go really well. You're going to have an experience. You're going to keep working with it. You're going to integrate it as a habit, or maybe you're like, no, I'm not interested. And that's okay. Just let yourself be wherever you're at. So we're going to come sitting up straight and tall, feet flat on the ground. You close your eyes. And coming back into your body. Practicing that deep breathing. As you inhale, breathing into the low lungs so the belly pushes out, and then you'll feel the air rise into the chest. And as you exhale, belly collapses back towards your spine. And I want to invite you to choose an experience that was difficult for you. And we're going to choose an experience, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, you're going to choose one that was maybe about a 3 or a 4. And as you inhale or exhale, just give yourself permission to remember that time. And this is a great time if you have something you really want to heal up and you want to release. I invite you to just take this opportunity now, bring it in. And it doesn't have to be work related. It can be personal. I believe that work and personal go hand in hand. And so remember what it was like to be there. Remember what it smelled like. Remember what it felt like in your body. Remember the feelings that you had, the emotions. And using the breath to help you stay really present. As you're remembering this experience that you had, start to recognize any resistance or tension that you're feeling in your body. When I was remembering the experience with my teacher in the 4th grade, I got a lot of tension in my chest. I know that when I experience or re-experience those not good enough feelings that come through, I usually feel it in my chest or in my belly. So just recognize where you're feeling any resistance, any tightness. And you're going to allow yourself to experience the energy. So we're not trying to push it away, and we're not indulging in it. We're just allowing whatever is showing up to be here, to be present. And just keep using that deep breath to help you anchor into your body, to stay really present. So we're experiencing the energy in the body, and we're allowing it, whatever's happening. If you have emotion coming up, it's okay. If you're feeling resistance, that's okay. And start to notice if there's a color that comes up for you that is associated with this energy, like maybe you're feeling tension in your belly or your chest, and just pretend that there's just like a color, and it's whatever color that comes to mind. And instead of trying to push the energy away, we're actually going to make room for it. And imagine that there's a dial, and you can dial up the intensity of the color. Or you're actually dialing up the intensity of the sensations that you're feeling in your body. And notice your impulse to want to think about something else. Notice your impulse. Maybe you want to get up and walk out of the room right now. Because as we sit with these difficult things, it triggers that resistance, that flee. And as you inhale and exhale, just notice if the energy is moving. Maybe it was in your chest and now you feel it in your neck, or maybe you feel it in your big toe. Just allow it to be wherever it's going. And you're letting go of any attachment to any outcomes. Maybe you're just imagining that the energy you're feeling is passing down through your feet, down into the ground. Just letting go of whatever you want to let go of, feeling whatever you're feeling. Taking some really deep breaths. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Noticing if you want to stop breathing and consciously just keep breathing. You guys are doing really good. And we're going to take a really deep breath in and feel the energy in your body. And exhale. We're going to come standing up when you feel ready. And shake. Shake, 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 shake. Really shake this time. Really shake, really shake. We're getting to know each other. We're all friends here. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, 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 shake. Okay, now we're going to get really wild. You're going to go, shake, 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 shake. Good. Come center. I know I'm insane. I am sitting right now. So that was mindfulness plus embodiment, feeling, equals more aliveness. When we feel the energy, we make space for it, it metabolizes just like food. We eat food, we metabolize the food, we have energy. We make space to feel the icky stuff, it metabolizes, we have more energy. What was that like? Anybody want to share? Anybody? Yes. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. So you made some space for it and it moved. Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah.
So ironically, what I was trying to connect with was a feeling of like helplessness and grasping a concept, like in algebra, like in primary school. And when you asked us to envision a color of what that felt like, the exact same emotions. So like, well, I don't know what color.
Right.
So ironically, it really helped amplify that.
Awesome. Amazing. Perfect. That was great. Yeah. Anybody else? One more person. Some happiness from your heart. Yes. Okay. Happiness from the heart versus burnout. Who wants happiness from the heart? Me. I want that. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. Happiness from the heart. I was thinking about that too. You know, when we think about love, bringing love, it's almost like love is reserved for like family and friends and loved ones. And a really amazing antidote for burnout and stress is to bring love to work. And I want to invite you guys to just think about that. This is not talking about romantic love. I'm talking about compassionate human love. where, and it's not like, I know it's it's a big jump to go up to your coworker and be like, hey, I love you, man. I'm not talking about it. You don't have to do that. I mean, that'd be great. But I call it love beams. It's like projecting silent love beams at people. I know it sounds really hokey, but this love business, it really helps, where you're just holding a space of love and compassion silently for the people that are around you, and it helps them. So just a little side note. Okay, so you can do this as a seated meditation where you set a timer. There is something that you want to work on. There's something happened. You want to work on it. Or you can do it on the fly. I've done it in the grocery store. The lady just cut me off in the grocery store. You can tell I have a thing about grocery stores. I don't like the grocery store. And the lady cuts me off, and I'm mad, and because I forced myself to, anything I share with you here, I have tested and proven it to work. If I share something with you I haven't tested out, I'll tell you, just give it a try and let me know how it works. But so the lady cuts me off. I'm angry. I'm like, okay, I'm recognizing that I'm really angry right now. So I was talking about this earlier in this experience design. How do you want it to go? You show up, you're present. What's happening right now? I'm discovering that I am pissed. Okay, and I'm experiencing this, and I'm looking at her, and I want to judge her, but I'm like, nope, can't do that. Got to practice what you preach, Sariah. And I'm experiencing it, and I'm just allowing myself to be angry, and then I'm choosing to let it go. And then suddenly I'm smiling. And she's like, hey, how's it going? I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. I'm like, oh, it's totally fine. No big deal. And then maybe have a little conversation with her. So it's doing it on the fly. This is resilience on the fly. We can be resilient. We can do, and we're going to talk about self-care before we wrap up. There's all these things that we can do to create a space for us to be more resilient, but this is how we clear it on the fly. And you can imagine that you have a little like invisible bottle of an energetic Windex or something, and you're choosing to clear it up. I'm angry. Okay, I'm going to let that go. Why? Because I have to focus and be clear and be creative and be innovative and successful, and I want to get home at 6 o'clock, and I don't want to hang out all day stewing in my cubicle because I'm angry. Right? You guys with me? Cool. Okay, self-care. So all this stuff that I'm talking about, meditating, being creative, having power in the moment, taking responsibility, sounds really great, but unless you are creating a foundation to work from, it's going to be really hard to do this stuff. Unless you are making the commitment to take care of yourself when you go home, it's going to be really hard to show up and be in your body and be and feel and communicate, because again, when you're burnt out, there's no room for that. It's just like, why, So I want to give you guys some self-care techniques. So moving your body. What is that? Yoga, CrossFit, hiking, Pilates, boxing, martial arts, whatever you're into, just do it. Maybe you just get up and you stretch a couple times. That shaking thing, I give that to my clients. And I say, hey, go into the bathroom stall and shake around. And you don't know how, so many people do it. They're like, I went, I did, I shaked it, it was awesome. So just moving your body, to move the energy, right? Your creative tool, you want to change your state, move. Meditation helps balance the mind, helps you become the observer of your experience. When you are observing, you have more space for creativity. Resting, this is really important, this rest. Resting means you take your phone and you put it away. Resting means you take your laptop, you put it away. Resting means that you take the Netflix and you put it away. like really resting your mind. You guys are brilliant. I can feel the intelligence in this room. It is palpable. But you have to rest your mind. Because if you don't rest your mind, you don't have the bandwidth to be creative and clear and innovative and successful and all the things that you want in a really good way, really clear, efficient way. So it's really important that you rest. So one exercise I give a lot of my clients is say, set a timer, 15 minutes, lay on the couch and stare at a wall. I'm serious. And I do this, just 15 minutes. And if you pass out, you pass out, let yourself pass out. If you have a lot of thoughts, it's okay. Notice your thoughts, breathe. Just let whatever's happening happen. Maybe you practice that real meditation where you're feeling and noticing what's going on. So resting is really important. Resting also is not happy hour with your buddies. The thing about happy hour is that alcohol severely jacks up our nervous system. Right? We're talking about the nervous system, fight or flight, reaction, right? So it's a depressant. I'm not saying don't have some wine, like live your life, enjoy your life, but just understanding how these things affect your whole system and your ability to show up and really be clear. Getting out in nature, connecting with your natural environment, geeking out on the plants and the trees and the sky and the earth. This is not woo, this is real. You guys are humans, you come from the earth. So use it. Get out of the building, get some air. Really important. Unplugging, you guys know what that means. If you have a hard time unplugging and you're addicted to your technology, get some support, get some help. Like really, if this is going back to like burnout and exhaustion and wanting to feel good, it's very, very important, guys. Cleanliness. So that means not just being clean and having good hygiene. That means that like cleaning up any like energy, any friction with other people. That means having a clean home space. Try to organize it the best that you can so you have more space in your mind. When we're clean and organized, we have more space and bandwidth in our minds. Setting boundaries with people. I have a lot of clients that have mothers that like to dump. They like to call up and just me, this, that, this happened, that happened, blah. And my mother's like that. And we think, well, this is because of my mom. I got to just listen and I have to just take it. And it's like, like that, So when we set healthy boundaries with someone like our mother, you might say, hey, Mom, I love you a lot. And I'm really hearing what you have to say. But right now, I need to take care of myself. So I'm going to let go. I'm going to hang up from this conversation. Maybe you help your mom find a therapist or a coach or a counselor. But setting healthy boundaries with people in your life who are taking your energy, sucking your energy. We've all had that friend. We've all been that friend, probably. I've been that friend. Before I was resourced, before I knew how to take care of myself, I would just call up my friend and just dump, right? And that doesn't feel good for people. So that's very important. Setting boundaries at work. I'm noticing that I do not have the capacity to stay until 10 p.m. this evening. I'm sorry. That's hard. I know, but it's important. It's something that you have the power to do. And I have a whole workshop on communication and ways to do this in a really helpful and useful way. Kindness, fun, have fun, practice kindness, and heal yourself. So what does healing yourself mean? Getting back to the subconscious mind stuff, talking doesn't help clear the subconscious patterns. This is really important because it's a tape recorder. If you have an old school tape, if I had an old school tape recorder here and I was playing a tape and I'm like, hey, tape recorder, stop playing. The tape recorder is going to keep playing because you can't stop a tape recorder with your mouth. You have to put your finger on the button and stop the tape. So that's what healing work does. There's all different kinds of modalities of healing work. I offer a lot of healing work to my clients. That's not why I'm here today. I'm here to talk more about some logical stuff. But find a way to get some healing to clear the subconscious recordings out. Breathing, sound healing, meditation, all really great ways to heal and clear the subconscious mind. I have a lot of clients that come to me because they've been working with psychotherapists for a long time and they've been talking. You guys talk all day, talk at work. Talking only gets us so far. It helps us understand the problem. It helps us get tools. But if we want to really transform our lives, we have to heal ourselves. So exploring that. Any questions about this stuff? You guys with me? Yeah? Okay. So a big part of self-care, and this is going to be the last piece I'm going to leave you with, is understanding the negative ego. Again, I could do a whole workshop on the negative ego. But the negative ego is the part of you that is focused on external power and competition. It's worried about what other people think. It's competitive. It's a very intense critic. And it's coming from this place of I am not, or I am separate from others. I am separate. The positive aspect of the ego is the I am. I am part of the one. So if you really want to take care of yourself and you really want to have the power to create change in your life and design the kind of life you want, but design the kind of experiences you want, there's no way of getting around it. You got to deal with the negative ego. So I'm going to teach you one more meditation, which is going to be focused on clearing the negative ego. It's actually a meditation for conquering self-animosity. So come sitting up straight and tall. Just be quick. I can tell you guys are full. We're going to wrap up soon. Actually, stand up. Stand up. All right. Before we do this meditation, I'm going to teach you a really awesome way to set boundaries. If you have someone or something that is encroaching on your territory, something that you're obsessing about, someone that you're having a hard time with, find a place by yourself. Take your hands here by your chest, and we're going to be doing this motion. And from your belly, you're going to say, no. You guys ready? 3 times. Ready? Inhale. No. Inhale. No. Inhale. No. How'd that feel? No? No? Was that fun? I like doing that. I don't know about you, but so you can do that. That like no more. Okay. So come sitting down. Yeah, do that to your, you're going to do that to your, yeah, do that. They'll be like, who's that woman? You guys are all going to go into your team and be like, no. This is just for you and your personal life. So you're going to make your hands like this. So the yogis believe that the thumbs are associated with the ego. And you're going to bring your hands together like that. And you're going to tuck your hands into your chest. And your spine is straight. Your eyes are barely open and focused at the tip of the nose. You're going to inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your mouth. Exhale through your nose. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale mouth. Exhale nose. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale mouth. Exhale nose. And keep going with this meditation. When we are in a state of the unknown or change or transition or pressure, our negative ego gets really riled up. And so this meditation is specifically for combating that negativity. Thumbs are back, thumbs are up like that. Good, and inhale. And exhale. Good. So I recommend doing this meditation, if you could do it for 3 to 11 minutes a day. And the yogis believe that if you do a meditation every day for 40 days, then you actually create a new habit or a new pattern. You create real change. So if we get back to the model, that's the deployment, is when you've actually created a new habit or a new change. So because I want you guys to be successful, I'm here to actually give you some tools to creating change in your life. I want to invite you to design your plan for self-care. Choose at least one of the meditations you learned today, or choose a practice that you've learned today, and commit to starting to try it out. See how it goes. Take some time when you leave here to write down your self-care plan. Write down your design. Set yourself up for success. Create a framework for you to actually experiment with some of these things and see how it goes. Write down how you're going to practice showing up differently in challenging situations. Maybe you have some situations with your family or here at work that you want to deal with. Find an accountability partner to share your design and plan with. Maybe somebody here that you spoke with today, maybe a friend, maybe your husband or your wife or your partner. And start practicing ASAP. Just go out there tonight when you're at dinner. Start, notice, how do I feel right now? I'm going to practice being really present. I'm going to listen. I'm going to make space for my whole self. I'm going to play with shaping how I want things to go. Maybe you set weekly check-ins with your partner to see how things are going. Oh man, this meditation that she gave us was really hard. I don't want to do it. I'm having a lot of resistance. And then get some support, because that's going to happen. You have to do this stuff to experience it. And then iterate on your plan as needed. So give yourself permission to try some things out. Iterate on the plan. And remembering, discover, design, develop, deploy, and iterate. I want to invite you to play with this model. You can apply it to anything. So, if you guys are excited about this work and you want to bring it to your teams, you want to share it with, other people that you work with, we are available to speak with your manager or your contact in HR. You can speak to my assistants in the back. They'll be happy to get your information. If you guys are interested in being on my mailing list and knowing about trainings and workshops and things like this, please leave your email address. And then also, if you're interested in individual coaching with me, I'm offering a 6-session coaching package at a 35% discount. If you guys sign up today, that's 1 hour, 6 1-hour in-person or online coaching sessions with me. And you guys can talk to the ladies in the back. They'll be happy to give you information. And if you want to do some healing work with me, that's also an option. They have all the information in the back. John has worked with me, and Emily has worked with me, and Amanda. So if you guys want to talk to people that have worked with me and pick their brain, and they'll tell you what a pain in the butt I am. They'll be happy to share with you. And thank you so much for coming. But before we wrap, if anybody has any burning question, please, I'm happy to hear it. Yes. Yeah, sure. So I have a yoga set that I can email you for conquering sleep. So it is a full set. So that's why I said talk to me after. If you're interested, leave your email address and I will email you the yoga set for conquering sleep. Breathing. There's a simple breathing technique that you can do all through the mouth. It's the breathing technique that I do with my clients when I do healing work with them. And it's a very simple breath. You just take a half breath into the belly, half breath into the chest, and a full breath out. A very light. And you do this when you're trying to go to sleep, and it'll help soothe your mind and it'll help soothe your body. And if you guys want me to show you after, I'm happy. Meditating before bed, so doing the meditation that I taught you with the thumbs peeled back like this before you go to sleep will also help clear the mind and release the ego so you have less on your mind before you go to bed. And I'm going to be around, so if you guys want to hang out, I'm here to answer questions, and we'll be here for a little while longer. And thank you so much for coming today and for having me here. Thank you, Shane.